Now I ask, God, position me. Now I ask, see, everything else is set up until this point. Now I'm asking for it. Position me, God, right where I need to be to execute this good plan of fortune. See, I don't know how many people understand what it takes. There's a setup, and then there's the execution. So I'm asking you, this is my prayer. Position me to be able to execute success. So that I can be effective and successful in what I need to do. I feel like where I'm at now, where I'm located, and what I'm doing is a little bit of what being trapped is. And for myself, I've learned from a scripture standpoint that it's a process. So I'm learning at this stage where I'm at. You know, you have people who have fear and are afraid of things about success and whatever else. And they find themselves trapped, not being able to get out of what they got into. But I only can speak about me, because everybody's journey is different, and everybody's execution level is not on the same, is not in the same position. But I'm asking, because it's my prayer, which is evolving to this point now. Position me. I have good conversations with the same people. I'm standing out of position is an example that I learned. The great Bishop T.D. Jake was discussing. I saw this a couple of months ago, and then I saw it again this morning. Is the concept of positioning. From what we all understand, or what I understand, I'm trying to quit educating other people and just trying to educate myself, I might think I'm doing something and I ain't doing nothing. So let me talk about myself. So it's better just to humiliate me and keep going. Positioning. The elbow is not a great place at this time for what we would call the earlobe, because the earlobe is positioned where it should be positioned so that I can hear. Now, if my ear was on my kneecap, naturally, then maybe it wouldn't be an issue about where the earlobe is supposed to be, where it's placed at. I love that lady. Because the earlobe is where it is located, I can hear. Now, in defense of people that might say there's people who have ears in what we're going to label as the correct place, they still cannot hear. And that's exactly how I feel about relationships that do work. There's a few of them that are in place, and for some strange reason they just don't cooperate with the plan. Or they do cooperate with the plan. So what do I mean about that? I don't want to get too far off the subject. But some relationships do work. But there's so many that don't, is that relationships don't work. So there's a lot of ears that are in the right place that do work. There are some ears that are positioned that don't work. So I'm talking about positioning. There are people who are in positions that are successful, and then there's most people who are not. So you want to be the deaf ear, that's the crosses past the norm, or you want to be the ear that hear and be typical and normal like everything else. Now I'm diving into another area, but I guess this is cool to go with. Talking about a deaf ear now. I guess this is going to be about a deaf ear. Let's do it. A deaf ear. Some people might think a deaf ear is a handicap. Person can't hear physically out of their ear, they're considered deaf. Deaf is a couple of letters from the word death, so maybe somebody thinks you're close to dying. If there's only a few people, and I'm going to say a few, that are deaf, they're still positioned, in my eyesight, in a good way. A person that's deaf may not possibly take for granted the other senses, seeing, smelling, or whatever else, touching, because the ears are not working, even though they're in the right position. A deaf person needs to stay alert. A deaf person needs to stay sharp. A deaf person needs to stay on their game. Because if they don't, then it's very possible that some things could go wrong, and they may be in a world of trouble if they got to depend on somebody that can hear to help them. Maybe a few of the deaf people have been built with their own accountability laws automatically. I cannot hear, so therefore, from day one, I need to depend on myself. Let's talk about the people who had hearing and became deaf. That's even better. Even though it seems like a struggle and more of a suffocation now that you have been experiencing the ability to hear and has been taken away for whatever reason, that person there could be jealous of the fact that somebody else can hear and that they can't anymore, and now their accountability level raises. I'm talking about a deaf ear. And a deaf ear is a super advantage in a world full of selfish, irresponsible, non-hardworking, ridiculous living type people. Ones that can hear, that got hearing, are the ones in relationships. And without having a deaf ear turned on and don't realize the advantages and perks that they have in being able to hear and being able to find somebody to spend quality time with, somebody to get married to, somebody to love you, somebody for you to love. It's just all taken advantage of. Now, I'm not saying a person that's deaf is praying to hear. Some of them may not, especially if they've never heard before. Some people see there's nothing wrong with the way God created me. So now we're talking about a deaf ear still. There's nothing wrong with me. Maybe everybody else has a problem. But the minority, to me, is always the elite group. It's always the greatest pack. To me, the deaf people, the people that have a deaf ear, are the ones that are elite. Those are the ones that are alert, because now they're tapping into, on a natural basis, what they need to do to be self-sufficient. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm saying. I'm just trying to bring an awareness and an alertness to being accountable, holding yourself accountable, and being thankful for what you do have. It's too late now for everybody to continue to worship being a thug or being stupid, dropping out of school, not trying to learn anything. It's too late now to not support your mother. I don't know where the fathers is at. For those that do have a father, help him too, because he's still a human. You might not believe it, but Christmas is coming up. He want a gift too. Now, I'm not saying that to my 2 kids because I don't need one. I don't need one. I'm good. But I'm talking about for the fathers that just might need that love. That just might need that. See, God has been blessing me and God loves me. So I'm good. My kids, I know love me. I'm good. I mean that. So if any human got a gift for me, I would appreciate it. And I'd be thankful because it'll be something that they're doing. But because of me feeling like I got a deaf ear, I've always been alert and always been aware of being thankful for anything that anybody's done. So having an ability to turn a deaf ear on somebody is what I think women do to men. At first they all in love with the guy. And then, we're 14 minutes in, oh my goodness. The woman at first, if you deep off in here, you'd have heard something. The women at first can hear, their ears work. They all in love with the man and give him everything he needs, let him have his way. And then at a certain point, when she no longer has a desire for him because he's cheated, and it's been confirmed that he's cheated, and all of these other things, then she turns a deaf ear on him, which means she no longer responds to his text messages. She don't respond to his phone calls, none of that stuff. So this is my sermon and presentation about a deaf ear. Are you turning a deaf ear on people? Maybe to be continued. Cold Crown, KOLD, KROWN. Crown is real. The coldness is also.